don't go believing anything I said. No, don't go believing me. No, don't listen to me. Don't take any notice. Don't listen to anything that I say. Thank you.
That you've never heard before. We'll tell you a story. We'll tell you a story. We'll tell you a story. We'll tell you a story.
Final question from me. When a minister lies, they should correct the record. I presume you agree.
Of course.
They might do so inadvertently.
Suggest inadvertently.
That's the general assumption of how we do our business in Parliament, that no minister deliberately lies, though there have been occasions in our history when that has happened and a minister has been forced to resign. It seems that you very rarely correct the record. Why is that?
I think I'm going to need you to give me a chapter and verse there, as they say.
A high consequence infectious disease. And Covid doesn't make the list. And we shut the globe down for it. It's not even as bad as influenza A or influenza B. So, what are we doing, honestly? Oh, that's right. It's because it's a lie.
The strength of our common institutions was really palpable during that pandemic.
Now, he was just talking to a minister from Scotland. Nick, get this? Talking about the time between the start of Brexit and him coming into office, 2016 onwards, up to the end of 2019. Because that was when Brexit was happening and Brexit finished at the end of 2019. 2020, we were no longer part of Europe. Brexit essentially was done. So, do you want to listen to that again? Do you want to listen to it again and take notice?
The strength of our common institutions was really palpable during that pandemic. During that pandemic. During that pandemic. During that pandemic.
During that pandemic. Meaning it was done, finished, over. Let's start version 2. We're going to start doing it every 3 fucking months. Like I told you before, every 3 months or so, they're going to fuck with you.
I think there are plenty of instances where you have been told by various independent and outside bodies that the precise words that you've used have not been the full and accurate version of events.
Well, let me give you an example. Okay, well, Mr. Brown, let me give you an example. Because I think you're, if I may say so, and great respect to you, Sven, I'm not entirely sure that Mr. Brown's questions are in order, but let me give you an example. It's commonly asserted, for instance, that when we put the figure of £350 million a week on the side of a bus that went around this country, causing a great deal of hoo-ha, that was erroneous. And that did not reflect the true figure. That's probably one of the things that you're thinking of, is it, Mr. Brown?
No, I'm thinking of, did you sack Matt Hancock?
Well, let me continue at this point.
Even though I'm trying to play pig ignorant with you and not give you an answer, I'm going to be deliberately ignorant with you and tell you that I'm going to tell you the rest of this answer, even though it's fuck all to do with what you are actually asking.
Did you sack Matt Hancock?
Let me give you an example. Of the £350 million a week. This was a figure that related to the gross sum that the UK gave to the EU budget. It was a subject of lively controversy during the referendum campaign 5 years ago, as you remember.
Let's see. 350. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, There we go. Don't know what that was. 350 million. Multiply that, because he said it's 350 million per week. What is it, 52 weeks in a year? Equals quite a bit. Now, he said that was an underestimate. So let's take one of their estimates, which was how many Europeans were resident and living and working in the UK. They estimated 2.5 million. That turned out to be actually 5.5 million. So there's a 3 million estimated discrepancy. That's 3 million more than they actually said. So, well, let's, it's might as well just double it, because then it's shy as well, and it's an estimate. So really, you're looking at that sort of figure multiplied by 52. Look at that. It's double. It's way more than they actually fucking think. I said this a long time ago. When we come out of the EU, they are going to have to find fuck knows how many ways to hide how much money this country fucking makes.
Actually, it turned out, if anything, Sir Bernard, to be a slight underestimate, and be a slight underestimate, and be a slight underestimate, and be a slight underestimate. And by this year, the gross figure would have been considerably higher. Sorry, if on your question about Mr. Hancock, the former Health Secretary, let me just go back to what I said many times, and I think I said,
but I'm not really sure. So I just think I said, and I'll say where I think I said something. You'll have to go and find the evidence yourself.
On the floor of the House of Commons, which was that we read about, and I think you read about, we all read about, the story concerning Mr. Hancock and CCTV and so forth on, I think, the Friday, and we had a new health secretary on the Saturday.
You heard about it on Friday? We all heard about it on Wednesday. What planet are you on, mate? Really? You think you're getting away with this bullshit? What, you mean like nobody actually knew for 6 weeks when they had this information? You think the internal security wouldn't have known about it and it had been reported? Really? Really? You're expecting us to believe your bullshit now?
And considering that we are in the middle of a global pandemic, and it's quite a thing to move your health secretary, Mr. Bryant, I think that was quite fast going, if I may say so. And that's all I have to say on that matter.
I'm the storyteller, and my stories must be told.
I mean,
I'll tell you how.
The Climate Change Commission said, and I think it's on the path to net zero, we have to get all homes not using fossil fuel boilers by 2033.
Now there's some significance with these numbers. See, 2022, well, they're just going to call it, like we've got COVID-19 and all this lot. Well, 22 is going to be the Build Back Better. Well, in numerology sort of circles, 22 is what they call the builder number. So they're going to be building on this. And the reason that it comes up as 2033 by the time they want to do it is because that's when they want the control over everybody.
That's 25 million homes. Last year, there were 38,000 heat pumps put in homes, 38,000, and we by 2033, all homes have got to have either a heat pump or a hydrogen boilers, which aren't currently yet available. Where is the plan to do that?
You're asking for a plan? Mate, this is fucking wing and a prayer, mate. This is straight off the cuff. Make it up as you fucking go along. Fucking plan. You'd have a bigger fucking plan if you got a fucking napkin and fucking started writing on it in pencil.
And thank you, Sir Bernard, and good afternoon, Prime Minister. Since Brexit's happened, there seems to be a whole lot of activity around what's referred to as strengthening the Union. What if it becomes clear that Scotland doesn't want the Union strengthened?
I'm not at all sure that that's true, Pete, and you and I have had many exchanges on this in the past. But I think that there was a vote in 2014. I think it was pretty clear what the people of Scotland wanted. It was decisive, and in terms of the Union, Pete, just look at it. In a dispassionate way. The strength of our common institutions was really palpable during that pandemic.
Well, what I am looking at is just an election that was held less than 2 months ago.
Really palpable during that pandemic, past tense, and still is palpable. What pandemic? What pandemic? Well, it stopped being, disastrous in 2020 when it didn't make the list.
Point of order, Samuel Wilson.
Speaker, on the 23rd of June, my colleague for Lagan Valley asked the Prime Minister whether Article 6 of the Act of Union 1800 had been impliedly repealed when the protocol was approved, the Northern Ireland Protocol was approved by the House of Commons. The Prime Minister answered emphatically no. Last Thursday in the High Court, responding to a case made by the government's lawyers that the Northern Ireland Protocol was not in conflict with the Act of Union because Article 6, which guaranteed equal trade across the United Kingdom, had been impliedly repealed when the Withdrawal Act was passed through the House of Commons. Mr Justice Colton agreed that indeed Article 6 of the Act of Union had been overridden by the passing of the Withdrawal Acts here in the House of Commons. Now here's the point, Mr Speaker. The government's case was approved, presented and argued before the Prime Minister gave the answer to my colleague in the House of Commons. And that answer, therefore, must have been a misleading answer to the House. And I want to know whether the Prime Minister can be called to apologise for that misleading answer, but more importantly, called to outline what action he intends to take to undermine the damage.
Just suggest inadvertently.
Inadvertently misled the House, and so I would like to know, can the Prime Minister be called to apologise for inadvertently misleading the House, and secondly, outline what steps he intends to take to undo the damage which the change in the Act of Union has caused constitutionally and economically to Northern Ireland.
And there goes Fat Boy Mystic Mug on his way out.
This is premeditated. Someone's a genius.
Elvis has left the building.
Can I first of all say I'm grateful to the Honourable Member for giving me notice of this point of order. The Honourable Member raises the issue of legal interpretation, which are not a matter for the Chair. He will know too that the Speaker is not responsible for Ministers' answers. The Prime Minister and the Minister will have heard the Honourable Gentleman's comments. If the Prime Minister believes his answer requires a correction, there are a process by which one can make this happen. although he may take a different view to the Honourable Member about the facts of the case. In any event, the Honourable Member has put his point on the record, and I'm sure he will find other ways of pursuing this. I don't think this is the end of the matter for now, but it is just for this moment.